Welcome to Michael Hartung International. Today I'm taking you to look at cheap flights to Spain. We're going to be using Google Flights on Google. So if you're not familiar with that, go ahead and sit back and take a look at this video. I'll show you how to use Google Flights to find cheap flights and to see cheap flights to Spain. Specifically, this video is dedicated to my best friend Amy's and her mom, Karen Anna Dina Rack Herod in Austin, Minnesota, because they're thinking about a trip to Spain to come visit me. So let's hop right into Google Flights and see what kind of cheap tickets we can find. So we'll go ahead and pull up Google Flights here. So I've got Boston pulled up. You can put in any city right here. I pulled up Boston because that's where my friend Amy's lives. And my recommendation is always to, if you haven't been to Spain or to Madrid, a great place to start is Madrid. Hopping on a flight from Boston to Madrid should be a pretty quick process. Let's go ahead and look at some dates and some prices and just kind of price out and look at what kind of airlines are available. So if you're thinking about a summer trip, just kind of looking at beach weather kind of starts May and June for the south of Spain here. And we have some pretty inexpensive flights available throughout June and July. So let's just go ahead and throw out, so like a Wednesday through a Wednesday, like a week-long trip to Madrid. I would say probably 10 days is better. Let me go ahead and get down here and change to American currency. A little easier to look at. May, June area out of Boston to Madrid, you can see some $380 ticket prices round trip in May, and then even in June you've got some pretty reasonable tickets. Let's just say you take off on a Monday and head back to Boston on a Wednesday, so about a 10-day trip. And my recommendation, fly into Madrid, stay in Madrid for a couple days, and then take the train from Madrid down to the coast where I live in the south of Spain in La Linea. And it's a beautiful train ride. And then spend several days here in the south of Spain. I think that's a great trip to be able to see a big part of Spain. So June 6th is a Monday to Wednesday, June 15th, if you're doing a 7 to a 10-day trip. $458 round trip on TAP. This is a Portuguese airline. You do have one layover in Lisbon, which it looks like it's just a couple hours. This is enough time to get off the plane, walk through customs, walk through the airport, go to your next gate, and get on the plane to head to Madrid. So that's a pretty decent layover with not much time having to sit there. This TAP Airlines is an okay airline. They do have a possibility when you're checking in online that you can buy an upgrade to first class, which is the lie flat seat. You can also, there's also a bidding process they have, which is a little more complicated. However, $458 round trip from Boston to Madrid is still a good deal. You leave Boston at 6:15 Monday night. You get to Madrid at 8 a.m. or at 10:15 a.m. You're in Madrid from on Tuesday. So basically, you're going back trip. I would opt for this one. It's 13 hours and 35 minutes. You've got a little bit longer of a layover in Lisbon, and you leave Madrid at 6 a.m. You're in Portugal at 7. Get through customs, have some breakfast, you hop on the airplane, you're back in Boston by 2:10 on Wednesday afternoon. That's a pretty decent flight and decent trip there. Now let's take a look at a couple of the other options. Let's see what else we can find here. So basically I like to pull up Boston to Madrid, or whatever city I'm flying out of to whatever city I'm flying to, and just pick out some dates. And I just go through the calendar and just kind of see what dates look like, what vacation time I might have, and what times might be the best for traveling. So June, July, and August are going to be hot in Spain, hot in the south of Spain, especially July and August. Those are our hottest months, but these are also our beach months. Let's head back. Let's just look into July. So this one, 493 round trip. Let's see what we end up with this one. And I just play around with the dates, play around with the prices. We're once again back at TAP. Let's see, we've got American Airlines here for $800. That's a 12-hour trip. Air France for $963. Now, another thing you can do is you can just select. Let's say you're a Delta fan. You can select to fly to see what flights Delta or Air France flies to Madrid round trip. So I go back to reset, hit Delta. Look at this. In March, Delta flights are as low as $473. That's round trip from Boston to Madrid. Of course, usually the bigger flights like Delta, Air France and American, those tend to have a little bit higher prices once we get into the summer months. You can see that the prices are a little bit higher here. In through July as well. Higher prices if you wanted to fly Delta. However, it seems that Delta tends to throw trips on sale anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks out. So let's just take an example of this March trip with a Delta flight, which is 473 round trip from Boston to Madrid. So that's 9 hours. That's a great flight. Great flight. You fly from Boston to JFK, you hit it in JFK, you walk to your next gate, and you're already getting on your plane. This one's Air France. You've got a 3-hour layover in Charles de Gaulle. This gives you enough time to land in France, take the bus to your next terminal, and then get on your next plane. Personally, I would opt for I love Air France. Air France is one of the best airlines I've ever flown, so I might like this. But this is a shorter trip, and navigating through JFK might be a little bit easier. Also depends on how much luggage you're bringing, if it can get from this plane to this plane in time. This is a pretty close trip, but let's say that you select this flight. 473 is just a great deal all around. And then leaving that next week, you've got several options here on pretty decent flights here. So this one flies from Madrid directly back to JFK, and then you head to Boston. Sometimes it's a little easier navigating JFK and navigating American airports than it is through Amsterdam and Charles de Gaulle, because a lot of times with these you have to hop on a bus or something in order to get to your next terminal. Everything is labeled really well, so it's easy to get through the terminals, but any of these flights here would be decent. Let's just go ahead and keep it with Delta, and you select that flight, and you can see, so March 1st to March 10th. Now remember, this is a day, you don't arrive until March 2nd in Madrid. And then of course with Delta, if it were me, I would 100% upgrade to Delta Comfort for $800 round trip. I think that's very much worth it. And then once you're on Google Flights and you select the airline, it'll bring you directly to the airline site, and that's when you can log in and pick out your tickets. Now you can do this with other airlines like American, etc. So it's Google Flights, and then you go ahead and type in your starting city. In this case, for my friend Amy's and her mom, that's out of Boston to Madrid. Spend a few days in Madrid, hop on the train and take the train down here to La Linea. And if we just pull up the map here, so Madrid is right here, and then you take the train down to La Linea, which is right here. That is a nice train ride, and then spend a few days here on the coast and at Gibraltar. Take the train back the day before back up to Madrid, and then you're there. Another option is flying directly to Gibraltar, which is where I live. The airport is a 15-minute walk from my house. Once again, this is a great flight at a great price. Let's change it over into dollars. So not bad, $1,500 round trip to be at the airport, right at the ocean, right outside my front door, basically. I think that's a great, look at this, $600. Now in the summertime, of course, tickets and flights tend to go up, but still $700. Right on the coast, you're landing right in Gibraltar, then you have all of the south of Spain to explore. So it's just a matter of what you're looking for if you'd like to spend a few days in Madrid and get the city feel and really that Spanish feel, or you want to head directly to Gibraltar, where I live. There's those options. But basically, my recommendation is flying into Madrid, having a few days there in Madrid, and then taking the train ride all the way down here. It's unfortunately off the map, but you take it right down here to where I live in the south of Spain. And this just exploring here for a few days on a nice, easy, relaxing, easygoing vacation, enjoying the beaches, enjoying Gibraltar, looking at some castles, which will fill up 4 or 5 days easily. That's my recommendation. Then you hop back on the train to Madrid, maybe the night before you fly out, or a day, 2 days before you fly out, spend another day or evening in Madrid, and then hop on the plane and fly back to the US. That's my recommendation, and that's how you use Google Flights to find cheap tickets to Spain. And like I said, it looks like there's some really good deals that are still coming up. Keep in mind that in order to enter Spain, you have to have your vaccination card. You also have to have a COVID test taken within 72 hours of the flight. And Spain is also instituting masks to be used inside, as well as if you're walking around outside, you will have to wear a mask. That law or mandate is coming back into place next week. Who knows how long it'll last? Same thing with the COVID tests and the vaccination status. That might change at any time too. So it seems those things keep changing on a weekly basis. I will include a website in the link in the description below that will have some sites that you'll need to look at in order to enter Spain from the United States. If you like the background music that you hear here playing right now, that is from my channel Ministry of Relax. I'm going to include a link to that video if you want to listen to the background music. Please hit the subscribe button to Michael Hartung International. Like, share, and comment on this video if you'd like to see more. And we look forward to helping you find any more flights. If you have any questions about Google Flights, or you'd like more information, or maybe you want me to search for something else, go ahead and hit me up in the comments and I will jump on that for you. For now, like I said, this video is made for my best friend Amy's and her mom, Karen Anna Dina Rack Herod in Austin, Minnesota. You guys take care, and I will see you in Spain soon. Bye now.